Sitting on a gold mine. Thank you, Lisa. That's a song by Daniel Nahmod, and he wrote that some time ago. And I think about it now. I'm thinking, do I believe that? I ask myself, do I believe that I'm sitting on a gold mine? And if I were sitting on a gold mine, what would I be doing right this very moment? And I am sitting on a gold mine. So, what is my next thing to do? So, this monthly theme is finances this month. Living Everyday Wonder Finances. And finances are an area of, well, either immense joy or immense struggle or someplace in between. And so this month, we are beginning with an awareness of that infinite source. Our first song was God is My Source by Karen Drucker. And what if we just sang that all day? So the awareness of that infinite source from which everything flows. We are in the flow and we follow that flow through with a human experience, both personally and out into the world. And so, in our teachings at Center for Spiritual Living, we believe in a universe of infinite abundance, every form of wealth, love, health, financial freedom, creativity, more. It's an abundant universe. And yet, we see that many are starved for love, starved for health, starved in creativity, starved in finances. The infinite flowing reservoir is always available, but we only let a trickle through. Our consciousness is filled with rules. My consciousness is filled with rules, let me tell you. And there are beliefs of lack and limitation and self-loathing and devaluing. Oh my gosh, this is heavy. These rules and beliefs choke the flow of that infinite good down to just a mere trickle. And so what would it be like if we knew that we were sitting on a gold mine? See, our work is to get our foot off the hose of this stream and let that natural abundance flow in our lives. In Science of Mind textbook, Ernest Holmes tells us this. He says, here and now we are surrounded by, immersed in an infinite good. How much of this infinite good is ours? All of it. And how much may we use? As much as we can embody. See, we live in a universe with an extravagant expression of life energy. There are people living all over the planet. There are trees blooming and leaves coming out all over. And now they're going to go into kind of a fall, which is the letting go. See, our consciousness is the law of our life. And so, what is this thing we call consciousness? So, Christine Baldwin, in her book Life's Companion, describes consciousness as follows. Imagine actions near and far. You interact with people and deal with obstacles and opportunities along the way on your path. So, this walker is the active self, though that imagines interacting with people and dealing with obstacles. So, now imagine a mirror path running parallel to the path that you're walking. And the mirror path reflects feelings, thoughts, attitudes, and beliefs about what is happening. And this is the watcher. So we have the walker, we have the watcher. The watcher is the reflective self. And together, these two create consciousness, the awareness of ourselves within our own existence. And consciousness is the birth of our capacity to reflect and to wonder. Consciousness reveals the connection between action and thought. We hear the mind think. We observe our own behavior. So this consciousness is our life's companion. It is the company we keep inside ourselves. And so if that universe is absolutely infinite, and if the only thing stopping that flow to us is our consciousness, then, well, I have to ask myself, what fills my consciousness? Do I have beliefs and rules about what God wants? Uh, do I believe money is sacred and spiritual as everything else? Do I believe I have value here and worth and I'm entitled to live well? Or do I believe I shouldn't live well because others aren't? Do we hold back the energy of life in order to fit in or keep our heads down and be invisible as we may have learned in childhood? Or do we believe that some god, something will punish us and take our good if we get too big for our britches? Do we believe there's an ebb and a flow to the infinite, ever present supply? Do we believe we can't prosper in bad times? What about a recession? Can we prosper in recession? Do we get rid of money as soon as it comes? Coming in, coming out. Do we cling and hoard out of fear that it will go away? What are we telling the universe about how to show up for us? See, the universe is always saying yes. So the restriction isn't in that universal flow, it's in something about us. And so I'm going to have Rob show a little video now that shows us about the universal flow. And so he'll be sharing his screen.
It's the hottest ticket in Savannah this summer. Every single game the Bananas have played at home, well, it's been a sellout.
Every night, we do new things we've never done before in front of a live crowd. They travel in from hours and hours away just to see them play.
I've been to a lot of baseball games, and this is the coolest environment than any baseball game I've been to, pro and amateur.
These guys are geniuses. They've cracked the code. They figured out how to get attention and publicity and get everybody talking about them all at once.
We exist to make baseball fun. Whatever's normal, do the exact opposite. I grew up in a small town, Scituate, Massachusetts, and I fell in love with the game pretty early. I wanted to play down south, so I took a full ride to go down to Wofford College, which was the second smallest Division I school in the country at the point. I started as a freshman, was pitching every Friday night. I started getting letters from the Braves, from the Padres. I was getting Christmas cards from the New York Mets every year, and I thought my dream was going to come true. It was my senior year. They found out that I had 3 complete tears in my shoulder. Just like that, my career was over. What do I do now? Ironically, a few days later, I got an email about a job with a small college summer baseball team. How do you get offered the job as a GM at 23 years old? Well, it's the worst team in the entire country. I looked at how many fans were coming out to the games. They said, well, we averaged about 190 to 200 a game. I go, what did I get myself into? I started learning everything I could about P.T. Barnum, Walt Disney. I read all their books, and I said, we're not in the baseball business. We're in the entertainment business. I think our players should do choreographed dances. I think we should have grandma beauty pageants. I think I should get in the dunk tank. We got nothing to lose. And the results were slow, but we went from 200 fans a game to 2,000 fans a game and started selling out. And that team that was losing $100,000 started to become one of the most successful and profitable teams in the country.
What a concept. To go from that idea of the worst team in the country and now he's blossoming us into something else. And don't you just want to root for this guy? I mean, that is how the universe responds. Once we lose our limitations, and maybe it's saying, what have I got to lose? The universe says yes. It responds with a yes. And so let's go a little further now with another piece of this video and see what happens.
And then in the middle of all of that, I met my wife, Emily.
My boss went to a conference that Jesse was hosting, and her words were, I just met the guy you're gonna marry.
She's like, oh, he's got the same enthusiasm. He loves the industry. I think you guys will be great. And she joined me in Gastonia and became our director of fun.
We really did just start having a blast together at the ballpark.
I proposed in the middle of the game.
And he got down on one knee. He had a baseball in his hand. He opened up the baseball, and inside it was a diamond ring.
As she hugged me, I had a fireworks show go off in the middle of the game.
And so I surprised him with a little getaway to Savannah, Georgia. He had never been, and because we're ballpark junkies, we came to the ballpark.
I remember it was a Saturday night. We walked into the stadium, and I walk up the stairs to the grandstand, and I look around, and there was no one there.
It was eerie. And so that night, he called the commissioner of the league, and he said, if this market ever becomes available, we've got ideas.
And luckily, with a lot of persistence, we convinced the city to give us an opportunity in 2015.
We didn't even have a name. We were not selling tickets. We weren't selling sponsorship. We had overdrafted our accounts.
So we sold our house, we emptied our savings account into the team, and we said, we gotta let these people know who we are and that we're not like every other baseball team. So we had to name the team contest. It was like Spirits, Anchors, the Braves.
The Savannah Pickles, the to-go cups, the sailors or the captains.
We thought Savannah being a ghost town, Savannah Specters would be perfect for it.
No, we need something crazy. We need something different. We need something unique.
That's right. We have a new name for the baseball team in Savannah, and it is
Savannah
Bananas. That's right. They'll be taking the field at Grayson Stadium later this spring.
We could say go bananas. And we literally started thinking the extension of how this could be so fun.
We have been waiting for the day. The Savannah Bananas are finally taking to Grayson Stadium for their home opener.
So we sold that opening night, 4,000 people. And if you look at what we do during a game, from the banana baby to the breakdancing first base coach, to players introducing themselves when they come up to bat,
Get your hands together.
to a male cheerleading team, to not a young dance team, but a senior citizen dance team. We want to create the best environment for the players to play. When you have fun, you play better. And we've won more games than any team in the league over the last 6 years since we started.
It's over! The perfect ending for a storybook summer! The Savannah Bananas are champions of the Coastal Plain League!
So, like Jesse Cole, most of us have been down in the dumps at the lowest tide sometimes, where there seems to be no light, no direction, no treasure. I mean, think about it. He lost his dream of being a baseball player, and yet he was given this other thing. And when our life feels so encumbered and burdened, it's difficult to see another way. It's difficult to believe that we are sitting on a gold mine. So we're weighted down by pain or guilt or fear or anger or shame or any number of things. We hit bottom and things look really bleak. But this, in fact, can signal the turning of the tide. See, conditions usually appear or sometimes seem most desperate just before a ray of light shines through. Both as individuals and collectively, part of human life is experienced at the lowest ebb. Ernest Holmes tells us that at our lowest ebb, we wrestle not against outward things, but against inward ideas and beliefs. The power of darkness is the power of false beliefs and superstition. If a man can change his inner concept, his whole life will be changed. So if this one person followed his intuition through the detour of not having what he dreamed to that abundant life, then surely the universe will support us in having more than enough to live as we want and to share and to be that inspiration for other people as well. See, our heart's desires are our greatest assets. That is our gold mine. True heart's desires guide us to what wants to be expressed through us. And too often, I know I've shut them down. I turned them off and stopped listening for one of two reasons. Either I have no idea how to bring them about, or I believe the desire itself to be outrageous, not the right thing to do, any number of other excuses. But this is what I know. The universe will not desire through us without also providing a means to accomplish that desire. See, we don't always see the how, but that's not our business. Our business is to be clear on the what and stand in that vision in faith as the universe provides the means. And Charles Fillmore refers to this energizing polarity as wisdom and love. In our teaching, we also look at it as love and law. See, we have the wisdom to have the vision and the wisdom of clear thinking if we just let go of those old dysfunctional beliefs. And we have the power of love, and that is the desire for the idea that wants to express through us. And as we let both expand, our experience of a joyful life expands. So as we're connected, we receive many treasures and gifts. And there exists the gift of inspiration, that inner pressure, sometimes the divine discontent. It's a tug of consciousness which turns the tide in our human experience. Just like in the Savannah Bananas, there was something that said, there's more here. And through our awareness of that inspiration that pulls us, we connect to the potential and we manifest our life as we desire it to be. Now, Jesse Cole, the reason that I showed this video was because I saw it a few weeks ago. Rainbow and I and Reverend Kit were all at the ministers conference, and they showed us the entire video, which this is just a very small portion of it. I encourage you to go watch the entire video. But it's so interesting. One of the things that they said after they showed the video is they said, we wanted to have Jesse Cole come and talk to us in person to this gathering, except that he charges $15,000 for a talk. And it's like, that is magnificent. That is wonderful that he's been able to come from this place of a hurt shoulder to a place where he can command $15,000 for a talk. Wow. He was sitting on a gold mine. And we're right there with him. We are sitting on a gold mine. And Rumi tells us this. Rumi says, let yourself be silent and drawn by the stronger pull of what you really love. So as we walked that mirrored path, and we recognize that our consciousness is the creative element in our lives, totally connected with the source of good, we realize that experience of prosperity comes within us. And people talk about the law of attraction, but attraction means that it's out there someplace. What if it's right here? Instead of attracting something out there to here, what if we radiate? So what if we had the law of radiation? And what we radiate or express out then becomes our experience in life. So if I have dysfunctional beliefs about wealth, for example, if I thought that $15,000, holy cow, he doesn't deserve that, that's something to look at. And if I'm not living in true prosperity, which Raymond Charles Barker describes as the ability to do what you want to do at the instant you want to do it, then I need to consciously connect with my infinite self. I need to go in and say, what is standing in my way? What ideas, what inspiration has come to me that I've said, oh no, either not now or I'm never going to do that. Can you believe that? No. What if we just followed that divine nature? And so here's our work to do. Let us explore our consciousnesses for any beliefs that are blocking the flow. Anything that might be there. Take some time this week to think about what is blocking the flow for me. Is it a belief that rich people aren't happy? Is it a belief that, I have just enough, I don't need any more? Is it a belief that, no, I don't want to work that hard for something? So without any feelings of blame, shame, guilt for past beliefs, what would it be like if you explored and said, well, what is standing in my way? And what we do in our teaching is we replace those old beliefs with something else. So instead of trying to eradicate them by pulling them out and throwing them away, we fill it with something else. It reminds me of if you've ever had a jar of soap suds, and it's like they're going to stay in there until you fill the bottle with water. If you fill the bottle with water, the suds will overflow, they will fall out, and what you'll have is the clear water. So when I want to replace a belief, I have to replace it with something that I want. And then after we replace, then we listen to what is our true heart's desire. What do I truly want? What is wanting to be expressed through me now? And then I say yes, even though I have no idea how that's going to be. Catherine Ponder was a wonderful abundance writer. And what she says in her Dynamic Laws of Prosperity, this is her affirmation. I invite you to take this. I expect lavish abundance every day in every way in my life and affairs. I expect lavish abundance every day in every way in my life and affairs. Lavish abundance. Wow. What does that look like? And so, as we understand that our consciousness is cause in our life, we recognize the only work we need to do is clear our consciousness. Clear our consciousness of anything that is restricting the flow of the divine. The brilliant abundance of the infinite is always shining, always expressing. It's like the sun. We know it's always shining, even if we are, under the clouds, even if we have drawn the shades, we know that sun is shining. And when we lift ourselves up above the clouds, when we open the blinds, we see that sun is radiating on everybody all of the time. It's always on. And we just need to get out of our own way. And when we let go of our limited way, when I let go of my limited way, then things happen. And I choose that higher truth. And then the infinite abundance shows up in my lives in ways that surprise and delight me. It's just amazing. I know that when I was, and this was several years ago, I was first doing the 40 days of prosperity. And this is a 40-day activity where you go in and there's affirmations every day and there's work to be done every day. And this was, oh my gosh, well, probably 30 years ago. And we had a car, we had a van, and the transmission went out on it. So we got it fixed. And the transmission was like $1,500, which at that time was a really large amount, especially for us in our early married days. And it's like, oh my gosh. But I was doing this 40-day prosperity plan. I believed it. I was working it. And we got a notice from the manufacturer of the van that says, oh, by the way, if you have had to replace your transmission, we will reimburse you for that. Like, okay. That was an example of how the universe said yes when I had no clue. I mean, how often does that happen? And at that point, recalls were not really in the consciousness. So I always remember that when I think about the universe will provide. And I'm in charge of my consciousness. I'm captain of my fate. And I'd like to take this idea into a guided meditation today. So if you will join me in this and just get comfortable, eyes open, eyes closed, whatever works for you. Just be comfortable so that you're not going to be distracted for the next minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it is. And get comfortable and, let's just follow the breath. Just with a deep letting go first, and then breathing in. And just follow that breath all the way into your lung. And then let that go, pushing it out, following the breath. And letting all the cares of the day just melt away. And in this place of peace, visualize in your mind's eye a magnificent ship. Being in the flow. And find yourself on the deck of this ship, in the middle of a magnificent ocean. And on a hat rack in front of you is a sea captain's hat. You know it's yours, and you put it on. And feel the strength and honor of being a captain. This is your ship, in your command. And as you walk down the deck, admiring and taking note of your ship, the air smells freshly salty. And on your right is a door that reads self. And a little further on, there's a door with a sign that reads family. And you continue on to the next door with a sign that reads money. This is a large, ornate door, and you decide to open it. And inside is the area of your life that is your relationship to money. And it consists of all the roles you play in regard to money, prosperity, abundance in your life. Whatever roles you have with abundance, prosperity, or money, they're in this room. And so look around. How do you present yourself in terms of abundance? You're the captain of this ship, and that makes you the captain of this room, the captain of your role regarding abundance, regarding prosperity, regarding money. What does it mean to be the captain? What are the tides of possibility showing you in regard to prosperity? How do you want to experience prosperity tomorrow, next week, next month? Are you sitting on a gold mine? Is there treasure here? And so just be with that idea, that vision you have around prosperity for yourself, for all. How does it feel? And now it's time for us to move on. So as we leave this room, we close the door labeled money, knowing that we can come back to it anytime. Come back to it, observe it, be with it, visualize it. And so now adjust your captain's hat as you begin walking along the deck. And you'll notice there are other areas with other doors leading to additional rooms of your life. And you know that you are the captain of this ship. You're a leader of all these areas of your life. And you have the ability to examine the tides of possibility in any of these areas whenever you wish. So return your hat to the rack, and when you're ready, come back into this present moment, into fully occupying the space where you are. And as we come back into this moment, let us also remember that the universe is abundant. And so I speak this word of power, knowing that there is one power, one presence, one infinite source, one divine love, one life. And this life is my life now. This life is the life of each and every person within the sound of my voice. This is one. And so I give thanks. I'm in gratitude for this abundant life, for the gifts of love, the gifts of life itself, the gift of health, the gift of abundance, the gift of creative activity. I'm grateful for this abundant life. No matter what it looks like, no matter what it seems like, it is absolutely perfect, whole, and complete. And as I speak this word, I know that it manifests in divine right ways. Already, even before we ask, it is given. And so I let it be. And I invite you to join me as together we affirm. And so it is. Go bananas.